Halloween.
Forever.
Oh my god, I just farted. It smells so bad. I just hotboxed myself. It's so hot in this room already. Hey, yeah, I accidentally this is embarrassing. Not that disgusting fart that I just talked about, but there's something else embarrassing that I thought was kind of funny. I accidentally sent my wife flowers over the internet. Like sent her over the internet. Yeah. Whoopsie daisies. Daisies. Welcome. Fucking Minisode of Halloween is Forever. I'm Brian.
You're a fucking penis is what you are.
Whoops. Daisies. You get what I'm saying there? I didn't really deliver it. I didn't really hammer it home too well, but I really cracked myself up. They're electronic daisies. You get what I'm saying there with that one?
Yeah.
Guys, welcome. We are about to jump into a motherfucking minisode. And not only that, a special one. Oh, so sweet. I don't know if you, spoiler alert, I don't know if you are caught up on the latest episode, but your boy got the belt back on the last showdown episode, which was our first episode in July. Your boy came back strong, snatched that belt right out of the clutches of this son of a bitch who had it for 3 straight months. And now we're about to deal out some motherfucking payback. Get ready for it. I'm excited. I also am very conscious of my loud swearing. We usually record this at night, and I was just putting my kids to bed, and my oldest daughter said, "Daddy, we can hear you yelling swear words in your office." And I said, "You shut your fucking mouth." No, I didn't. But
that's how they hear it in front of their face.
Yeah, they were laughing about it. They think when Daddy swears, it's funny. So, and it is. It's fucking hilarious, guys.
Yeah.
That's why swearing is good. It's funny. It's hilarious. But so you know, for those of you who are new to the show, I'll rehash this again for all you fucking noobs out there, all you bandwagon fans jumping on here in July, acting like you fucking own the place.
Look, you got to, because we're on Threads now.
That's
so
true. We are on
Threads, knows how many people?
I don't know what that means. I literally have no idea. I saw you did a thread thing on our page. I'm like, I clicked on it. I don't know what it is. Is it a whole new app? Is it something to do with Instagram?
Yeah. So it's Instagram's answer to Twitter. I don't know how. It just whatever.
Good job striking while the iron's hot on that one, huh?
Elon, I take it as that Elon Musk was such a dick to Zuckerberg at some point. He said, "Fuck you, I do this now."
Yeah.
And then just said, "We're going to do Twitter." And then it's just going to tie Instagram into it.
Okay.
So if you're already following us on Instagram, we already have like a big built-in audience.
Mm-hmm.
So we're recording this one day after the app launched, and we already have 300 followers. So, you know,
nice.
Yeah, it just goes right in.
Okay.
And so Zuckerberg said, "Don't be mean to me.
Stick it up your
Don't try
ass,
to bully
Elon.
me. Don't try to bully me, dummy."
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll have to check out that whole thread thing. I heard it's a thing. I heard it's what's hip in the streets with the youths. So we'll check it out. Speaking of that, well, let me get back to what I was saying. If you're new to the show, again, fuck you, where you been? But here's how this works. Every damn Monday, we got some juicy, succulent, sweet, and spicy content for you on every damn Monday. But one Monday a month, first Monday, we do a showdown episode. And we're about to spin this goddamn wheel here in a second for our August showdown. We spin the wheel at the beginning of the month. We get 3 topics. All those topics were suggested by listeners. Some of them we threw in there. And then we pick 3 of them. We put it out on the social medias. So if you do follow us on the Instagrams, if you do follow us on the Twitters, or even on the threads, I don't even know if you can vote on the threads. I just learned about the threads. But if you want to help us pick those topics or suggest topics to us, follow us on those social media outlets. And then our listeners and social media friends pick one of those topics. Then We, meaning me, Steve, and our guest, pick a movie associated with that topic. In July, it was Nickelodeon Halloween. So it wasn't even movies. We did a bunch of TV specials, Halloween specials. And your boy took home that motherfucking strap. So the episode after that, we get to do a little punishment. So this is when I'm dealing out some fucking punishment, you insolent prick. Just been sitting over there for 3 months. Steve's just shaking his head like he can do anything. He can't. He's just got to take it after making me watch his fucking movie and watching shit movies and scat films and all type of nonsense. I picked an absolute piece of garbage that we're going to talk about here in a quick sec. I'm sure if you clicked on the topic already, on this episode rather, you already know what we're going to be talking about. We're talking about one of my new favorite films on the whole damn planet. 2002's http://fear.com.com. That's the full title of the movie, guys. And we're going to get into
international
it here in a
markets.
Yeah. We are going to talk about fear.com.com here in a quick second. It's an absolute blast. But before that, like I said, we got a couple other things we got to do. We got to spin that fucking wheel. While Steve gets that wheel up, we also got a Patreon. And unfortunately, we already have patrons on our Patreon, which means we have now instituted the promise that we have set forth that really I hold Steve 100% responsible. It's his idea. He suckered me into it. He's dragging me along for this fucking ride. We talk about horror movies on this podcast. Y'all know that. Steve decided it would be a great idea to make me watch every single one of the Fast and the Furious movies, which I have in the past adamantly declined doing. So we are doing something. Steve, tell him about it a little bit.
So, I mean, hey, I'm upset that I lost the title and now I had to watch fear.com.
Yep, fear.com.com.
But then I found out that we had patrons who were jazzed about they were getting to listen to Family is Forever, the new Patreon exclusive podcast with Brian and I watching Fast and the Furious films. And you know what? I feel like I that's how I win. That's how I win.
You really did get the upper hand on me somehow there, because the first day I think we announced that we had a Patreon. We immediately got some patrons on there, which, like I said, we promised if we did get patrons at that $5 level, that we would engage with Family is Forever. So this is how it goes. You go to patreon.com/Halloween is Forever. And you can do two things. You can donate at a $3 a month level for us, and you get some ad-free episodes. And I've already promised if I meet you in person, you're going to get a firm, friendly handshake, maybe even a kiss on the cheek. $5, I'll suck your dick. Just kidding. No, we will. $5, we will. You get those things. Plus, you get to jump on the old Discord if you want. And we're going to do some live recordings and some fun little Q&As and things like that on the Discord. And you get access to that all-important extra episode every month. That is Family is Forever. We're going to go in chronological order.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping at least we'd go a couple months without anybody signing up for the Patreon, but unfortunately people jumped right on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to have to watch the first Fast and the Furious movie, which I do believe is the only one I've seen. Okay. I think I might have Tokyo drifted at some point just for a minute or two, but I don't remember. That's the second one, right?
No, it's the third one.
Okay, fuck. Then I don't know which ones I've seen. I think I saw maybe I played a video game with some Tokyo drifting that happens. I don't know, but I've definitely seen the first one.
Okay, that could have just been a Need for Speed.
Yeah, I might just be confusing Need for Speed with all these movies. But in any case, I have seen the first one, but I'm going to rewatch it, and it has probably been 10, 15 years, maybe more since I've seen it. So if you want to jump into that and hear me just be fucking punished by this bullshit franchise, hop on over to patreon.com/Halloween is Forever and give us some sweet cash dollars. and you can hear us talk about that bullshit.
If you care
all right.
about Brian at all, giving him money makes him feel better.
it would ease the pain a little bit, but as I've said in the past, and I stick to my guns, and I mean this, there's no amount of money that makes this worth it for me. But here we are. All right. Before we get that spinning wheel, you got a beer you drinking there or what? I'm about to do one of these. So thing ready?
Hacha. Yeah, I got quote beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty pissed, and I was pretty pissed at this movie, and this movie is such a piece of shit. Like, it is so fucking bad.
I fucking loved it.
So
it's
I decided
garbage.
It is so bad. And I have more questions than I do have answers, but
I can't wait.
I decided I'm just going to get blasted this episode.
I've driven Steve to drink. Oh, Jesus Christ. He's going full on Steel Reserve. Big boy.
I got a stovepipe at 211. Fuck this game.
You're going for broke. Oh, that makes me so happy. Just driving Steve.
Yeah, this is just called flipping the table.
Yeah. If you would have went to the store and they were out of that, I think you would have just came back and just drank mouthwash or something just to get, really, that would have been appropriate to get the taste of this piece of shit out of our mouths. Yeah. But I can't wait to talk about it. I'm drinking this little bad boy here, a little Sierra Summerfest, which they used to call a Czech lager, but now they just call it a refreshing summer lager. Sierra Nevada is kind of, I think, wisely, basically took the beers that they made that they used to call like very specific styles, because styles don't matter in beer anymore. Everything is either an IPA or a sour or a different thing. Mm-hmm. Lager, IPA, and sour and stout. Those are the only styles in beer right now. So like, Celebration became Celebration, winter IPA or whatever. Mm-hmm. This just became refreshing summer lager instead of like Czech Pils, I think is what it used to be called or something. It's still the same beer. They're just like, hey, you stupid fucking knuckleheads. We make good beer and you're too stupid to understand what that means. So let's just spell it out for you in like dumb idiot phrases. But it's still
Nosferatu became red IPA.
Yeah, shit like that. I mean, that happens all the time. But here we are, and Sierra Nevada is still absolutely fucking crushing it. This is just one of the best fucking seasonal beers out there. So
yeah,
I'm dipping my tongue in a couple 2 Triodos.
Nice. Yeah, Sierra Nevada is, I don't think I've ever, I can't think of a beer that I had from them that I didn't like.
They are in my mind one of the world's great breweries. Maybe the Western world's greatest brewery. Like in terms of package, in terms of consistency, how amazingly they are putting beer in packages. Their beer holds up in the can better than anybody. The diversity of styles they make and still make them really great. And that brewery they have down in North Carolina is like fucking the most impressive brewery I've ever been to.
Nice.
It's just wild. Yeah, I'm just an unabashed Sierra Nevada fanboy. Always have been. Love that shit. All right, so let's spin that fucking wheel. What are we gonna get on this here spinning wheel for August, guys? August is my birthday month. So I don't know if that's gonna help the wheel to shine upon me favorably, but let's see what we get.
Okay, well, maybe, because the first one we got was Best of Vincent Price.
Oh my goodness, that is one that I think I put on there, and I love me some Vincent Price. I watch pretty much anything with Vincent Price in it, good, bad, indifferent. A lot of them are awesome. He's one of my all-time favorite just performers, period. Genre films or otherwise.
Can we do the Batman Eggman episodes?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then they did that like rip-off version of Vincent Price and Scooby-Doo. What was his name? Damn it, his name's escaped me. It wasn't even him. He didn't even do the voice, but it was like very much based upon him.
Yeah, because there's like the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo or whatever.
That's it, 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, yeah.
Yeah. This next one, though, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Okay.
So it's best scenes in terrible movies. So I think it's saying like a terrible movie that has like a cool scene in it.
Yes. I believe that is what it is. I think a listener suggested that one, and I do kind of vaguely remember getting some clarification on it. And yes, that is exactly what it means.
Yeah.
It is the movie sucks, but it's got, one or two really great scenes in it.
Okay. It's got like a good kill or like some unexpected camera movement from it.
Yep. Yeah. Something that's really sticks with you, and you're like Ghost Ship, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like Ghost Ship. That opening scene, fucking legendary. The whole rest of the movie, dog shit.
Yes.
Yeah. So that I think that's kind of the spirit of what that one was about. Spirit. Ghost Ship. All right. All right. What's next?
And our third and final one. This one I'm excited for because it might win this time. It's come up and not won in the past, but it might win this time.
All right.
Best of Roger Corman.
Roger Corman. Okay. We could go in a million directions. So he's just got so many fucking movies.
Yeah. And I feel like this one, Roger Corman might win this time because Joe Bob Briggs is doing the whole big celebration.
Yep.
Like celebrating 70 years of Roger Corman. So just saying, audience.
Yeah. It's right on, it's in the zeitgeist, guys. So many good movies to choose from there. So I like all three of those topics. I'd be really excited to do any of those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So once again, best of Vincent Price, best of Roger Corman, and then good scenes in bad movies. That'd be fun as well.
Yeah. They're all good. They're all new.
Mm-hmm.
Not like we haven't done any of these before. So I'm pumped.
Get ready for that sweet, juicy content, guys, in August. That'll be for August. So in the coming week here, check us out on the social medias, usually on the Instagram stories, and then in the Twitter feed. We'll do a little quiz on there or a little poll, and you can select which one you want. We'll tabulate all those votes up from the two platforms, and maybe in Threads. Again, I don't even know what the fuck that thing does, but we'll tabulate it. And then we'll tell you which one of those we're going to pick. And then the next episode, we'll tell you what our picks are going to be. We also will tell you who our next guest is going to be. We don't even freaking know that yet. So that'll be exciting as well.
I might know.
Oh, yeah? We already got somebody?
Yeah,
okay.
I might know.
All right. Interesting. Okay. Without any further ado, let's get into this fucking series, guys. We are going to talk once again. Let me remind you, this is Steve's punishment. He deserves this. So we need to let it really sink in. We need to rub his nose in it. This is 2002's The Meanest Face. You guys can't see it. He's just got a sour damn face right now. We are going...
Oh, but they can see it if they pay $5 for the Rascal tier on patreon.com. Okay, that's the last time I'm done.
$5, you can see Steve Sourpuss. Fear.com.com, guys. So this movie, like I said, is from 2002. This movie is horse shit. But I had a lot of fun with it. It's so fucking bad in so many ways, and we'll talk about it. Let's go real briefly through the cast, because there's really only like 3 cast members, that maybe 4 that actually matter at all. The stars of the movie, you've got one Mr. Stephen Dorff. And, if you know a Stephen Dorff, you probably know him from Blade. He's been in plenty of other things. I know him from Blade. You know him from Blade. Let's not fuck around with it. He's been in other things. Then we have someone who I wasn't that familiar with, but I recognized her face, but I've just not really seen much with her in it. I mean, I've seen The Truman Show. I didn't really remember her as being, one of the, main characters in The Truman Show. It's been a lot of years since I've seen that. She's in a lot of things, but not much I've seen. Natasha McElhone.
Sure.
McElhone, I think it is.
Yeah. Go with that.
She sucks. She's so fucking bad in this movie. I'm sorry. I don't know much about her. I couldn't name anything else besides The Truman Show that she's been in. She's so fucking bad in this. I can't believe it. Then we got Stephen Ray, who's an excellent actor. but not in this movie.
Oh no, not in this movie.
He's really genuinely a good actor, but he sucks so hard in this movie. It's unbelievable.
This is like also out of his, I don't want to say it's out of his range, but it's out of what he commonly does.
He does. Yeah, he's very British.
Yeah.
He's ultra British. And then his character's name is Alistair Pratt, the most British sounding name. But then they give him this fucking, I don't even know where that accent is supposed to be from. It's horrible. His American accent, he's got like a regional American accent that I genuinely don't know what he's going for.
I thought he was going for Dutch.
Sometimes it reminds me of like Midwestern. Like, is he trying to sound like he's from like Chicago? And then other times it sounds like he's trying to be from like New Jersey.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's unbelievable. It's all over the place. We've got some other faces in here. Is it Kier? Udo Kier?
Yeah, Udo Kier.
Kai. I never know how to, I always forget how to pronounce his last name. You've seen him in a million things, a lot of bit parts. And then you've got the great Jeffrey Combs, who's just completely wasted in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Plays a fairly minor role. Really 90% of the people you're going to see on screen are Stephen Dorff playing Detective Mike. And then you got Terry is who Natasha McAlone is playing. And then Stephen Ray's playing the doctor, which you learn his name is Alistair Pratt, whatever. Yeah. The doctor is what they refer to him at, through the whole film. So
it's been so long, like, and I don't even know if I saw this whole movie. I feel like I shut it off the first time I saw it. But like, it's been so long. Like when it first introduces Terry, I was like, oh, is that Lily Sobieski? And then I looked it up and I was like, that's not Lily Sobieski at all.
No. She is genuinely awful. She's definitely one of those people that like I've seen her before in other things and just didn't really think that much about it. Like never really made a huge impact or anything. And I haven't seen enough, but this is genuinely terrible. This guy did direct one episode of Masters of Horror, which I don't know which one he directed. By the way, the director on this one is William Malone, big old Billy Malone. He also did the 1999 remake of House on Haunted Hill, which I saw in the theaters, and the power went out when I was in the theater. I think I told that story in an episode a ways back. And so I never saw the ending. Like the power just went out. They gave us a refund and I never saw the ending. He has done a lot of TV. I mean, really not a lot. Oh, he did direct 3 episodes of the Freddy's Nightmare TV series from the late 80s, early 90s. So there's something there.
I feel like that's what he used to carry, because he did 3 episodes of Freddy's Nightmares and then 1 episode of Tales from the Crypt. And I feel like he just...
Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah. 2 episodes, this says.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 2 episodes. Sorry, I was looking at... It's all like 1 and 2 on this. But like he just uses his like 1 and 2 TV credits to propel him to this.
Yeah, some feature stuff. I mean, I think really, his probably as far as his biggest budget scenario here was really in the late 90s into early 2000s. I mean, House on Haunted Hill was like I think a pretty big release. It had some names in it, got a super wide release. He did a TV series in 2000, just 1 episode he directed called The Others. I don't know what that is. And then Fear.com. And then he has not directed he doesn't have any directing credits since 2008.
That's okay.
Yeah. Which, I don't know that we're all that sad about it. Let's get into this movie. The plot is almost completely nonsensical. The editing is amongst the worst editing I've ever seen. It's unbelievable. We'll talk about a couple of them. Like the editing is so bad that at some point it causes you to lose the plot almost.
Oh, yeah.
Because the editing is so bad.
Yeah. I lost the plot. I got confused with characters. Yeah. I was just like, it is monstrous. I was like shocked at how much this film is basically just like if Seven and the Ring had a trip to Planned Parenthood.
It is an unabashed. I didn't even think about 7, but you're right. They try to do that gritty. They definitely are trying to bite on 7 as well, which I didn't even think about. But it is an unabashed ripoff of The Ring.
Which
and even The Ring, because this would have been not long after The Ring, remake.
Well,
right.
Yeah, well, here's how it goes. And I was just reading fear.com fucking trivia, because like I noticed, it says the movie came out in 2002, and I know for a fact that The American Ring came out in 2002 as well. The trivia says, despite numerous criticisms pointing out similarities to The Ring from 2002, a remake of the Japanese horror film Ringu from 1998. This movie was theatrically released 2 months before it. So they're trying to act like this movie didn't bite off. It didn't bite off The Ring because it came out before The Ring. But that's a
Corman move right there.
Yeah. But after The Ring, it's after the original Ring. Like there was even a South Korean remake after that, but before this movie.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've seen Ringu, and obviously I've seen the American remake.
Yeah,
but I didn't know there was a Korean one.
Yeah, in '99 there was the Ring virus.
So okay, no, I don't know that one.
So like this property is popular. It's been around. Right. People know about it. I'm pretty sure there was a bidding war on who gets to make the Ring. The
American one.
The American one. Like, it was directed by Gore Verbinski.
Yeah.
Like, people knew about this. They knew it was coming.
I love that. They play it. Guys, it came out before. How could we possibly?
How could we know?
Yeah. I love that. Just playing stupid thing. We'll talk about exactly why. But essentially, instead of watching a videotape and you get 24 hours before you die, this is you log on to a www and you get 48 hours. So how could you even confuse those two things?
Yeah.
But in any case, this movie started out, I did find it interesting to note, this movie did start out just in the same way the actual internet began. This story begins on a dark and stormy night with a man who can't keep his glasses on his face, which I think that's the way the real internet started.
Pretty much.
Right off the bat, you get this idea that there is going to be some really bold, and by bold, I mean inept cinematography and sound design decisions, like right from the beginning, like from the first scene.
I was shocked to realize that I was supposed to take this opening scene seriously.
Yeah,
I thought it was like a faux cold open.
The jokey cold open. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too.
Yeah, and I thought it was gonna like turn into some sort of like website prank video or some shit like that. Like something.
Or this was gonna be a movie somebody else. It felt like a movie inside a movie.
Yeah. It does not feel like somebody's making an actual movie, but then the next scene carries on. It's like, oh, that was real. I was Yeah.
No, that was a part of the plot that we just got there. Udo Kier is kind of just stumbling through a subway down to a subway terminal, and everything's wet, and he's holding a bunch of stuff, and it just feels almost like it was biting off of like that scene in Jacob's Ladder, like when he's walking through the asylum or something, because he's like looking down these hallways, he's trying to do similar angles, and then there's just like a dog staring at him. The dog, nothing happens with the dog. Why the dog's there, I don't know. For the same reason everything in this scene is there. The lightning is there because it's scary. The dog is there because it's scary. Girls in a white dress are scary. Yeah, there's just Cujo is just hanging out in the fucking subway, and they have there's no reason for it. But you do see this, you made mention of the girl in the white dress. It looks like this child that was hatched out of an apple egg. She's like wearing, she just looks like she was designed by, early 2000s Apple. Yeah. And she's got like a white ball and like white hair and a white dress, and her hair's very like rounded, and it's very bizarre. It was Steve Jobs' original idea for the Lisa. That's a good computer joke, everybody. Computers, guys, PCs. Anyway, she's playing on the train tracks. And then, Udo, spoiler alert, he gets fucking waxed by the train, does not drop his notebooks, which we find out that it was a book that is relevant here. But also you start to get some indications that maybe like the internet made him do this, but it's very vague. You don't know why. And then you get shot over, kind of abruptly to Terry. She's waking up in her apartment and there's a mouse in her slipper that her cat had put there. So you get like this little, like, not a jump scare, but she's surprised by there's a dead mouse in her slipper. And then she doesn't like throw it in the trash. She just tosses it on the ground, which I kind of thought was interesting.
That's for later.
Yeah. And then, you get back over to the scene of the accident, where Udo, which Polidori is his name. He's like a professor or something. Anyway, it actually doesn't matter that much, believe it or not. But they're investigating this, this scene, and you've got Detective Mike. Stephen Dorff rolls in. And he goes, Jesus Christ, what happened to him? It's like, you're on the train tracks, dude. I got hit by a fucking train, you dickwad. What do you think happened?
You're a detective. Put it together.
Yeah, this ain't your first day. You're investigating a train on a train track, and there's a guy there who's all mangled. He got hit by the fucking train, genius. But turned out that this guy was the author of a book about computers. I don't which is the single most antiquated thing on the planet. A book about computers. I don't know why. I thought that was really funny. Meanwhile, there's like this spooky guy doing this like point and click adventure type of thing. Apparently he's running a website that's like, I don't know, a precursor to Twitch, but for snuff films. And it's 2002. The technology looks like it's from 2000 at the latest. So it just looks like this weird, like, wannabe creepy point and click adventure. And it's so wildly, like, this time, around this time, mid 90s to even like the 2005-ish type of time frame, I guess. You got a lot of these movies where it's like the villain is the internet, kind of. Like, I'm being a little bit tongue in cheek here, but there's a lot of movies that kind of fall in that category. And there's always a lot of like speculative fiction around where the internet could take us, and the scary depths of this new technology that nobody understands yet, kind of thing. But honestly, in this instance, like, guessing the future of digital technology, they did a horrible job of it, and they didn't really even do anything technological. Basically, they're just like, you go to a website and then it gets in your brain. Like, that's the plot. Like, Lawnmower Man was way more creative and frankly probably more accurate in the way that it like speculated on the future of digital technology.
And like, they go through this whole scene, like, I'm jumping ahead in the film, but like, they find a drunk writer to explain Udo Kier's philosophy and theory on the internet. And he explains it that Udo Kier's character thought that the internet could store energy and it could store. So like, basically they're just saying it can store ghosts. I'm like, yeah, that's not how any of this works. What are you, dumb? No.
Well, it's like, it's almost like they could have said it was, I don't know. Essentially, that's what it is. It's the cloud. The cloud stores ghosts. Yeah, that's essentially what's happening here. But it also is through this whole like really horrible Flash website that they show so often because they're like really into showing off this technology.
Yeah, it's a dog shit Newgrounds game is what it was.
It's really, really bad. Even I feel like for 2002, it was really bad. But we do get a Jeffrey Combs sighting at this point, which, he's the best part of this piece of shit, even though he only has a few lines. But Stephen Dorff is detective, like I said, is Detective Mike, and Jeffrey Combs plays Sykes. They don't even give him a first name. He's just Sykes. So the doctor who you just kind of talked about, who's Unclear what his relationship to the actual website is. Still, after watching the movie, I think is not entirely clear. But essentially, what he does is apparently he was already an existing serial killer. So we don't get any type of like ideas about his origins or how he escalates or anything. He's just a guy in a room who tortures people on a webcam, basically. And they call him the Doctor. Apparently Detective Mike has a long history with him, which we learn very little about. But he's kind of like a Zodiac type murderer, that's still at large. And like I said, he webcasts this torture and live murders essentially to all these viewers. But you don't ever really see anything about how he interacts with his viewers. It's just like a number, and you do meet people that along the way that apparently knew about it or had been infected in some capacity. So that's where the Ring kind of thing gets into it. Is if you log onto this website, you get infected by I don't know, a ghost that's looking for revenge that's in the website, maybe, but is also part of the website and was like programmed into actually what's happening on the website. So it's like, it's not like it's a supernatural website. It's a supernatural website.
It doesn't make any sense because like the idea is that I guess there's a ghost piggybacking off his website and just haunts his website. And like,
but she's such an essential part of the experience of the site though.
But he's totally unaware of it.
Yeah.
Because of how they beat him in the end.
Yeah. He didn't know anything about it. It's like, you host this website that has, potentially, thousands and thousands of followers that tune in to watch your live webcasts of you torturing and murdering people, but you have never been to your website. Like, you don't know how any of this works. You just turn on a camera and it magically goes into the internet to all these people. Like, he doesn't seem to be aware of the functionality of the website, despite the fact that he is like this mastermind that's I assume funding the entire thing and has multiple locations, which we'll come to learn. It's just, to say there's plot holes would be like the understatement of the century. Like, there's so many that it's almost difficult to even understand what's happening.
Yeah. And
not almost, it is very difficult.
It's pretty difficult because for a bit, I just thought there were two websites. There was fear.com. There was fear.com.com.
Right.
And then there's his website.
Yes. At first I kind of thought that too, but I'm like, no, because we'll get into it in a second.
So,
but the people
hold on.
Who have
wait. I think I might. It's not. It doesn't patch the hole, but I think I know what it is.
You think? You know about fear.com.com?
I think. So they mention the way he got away was that he changed his website. So
right.
So the one
which I thought was a funny.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
Which
he got a new website. He deleted his account,
which is crazy because they also reveal like they know his full name, they know his medical history, they know everything about him, and he still gets away. Like once they knew the Unabomber was Ted Kaczynski, they got Ted Kaczynski.
Not this guy. And this guy is in like an industrial building. Like, he's not out in the woods in a cabin,
Okay, but so the patch is that he got a new website. His original website was fear.com.com, and he just and the ghost is just stuck on there, and he doesn't go back to that site. He streams on his new site. He's on Kick after getting suspended from Twitch.
Gotcha. So he's on GeoCities or whatever now.
Right.
Gotcha.
He said, I got to move to Angel Fire or else the cops are going to find me.
You might be like, I know that sounds so stupid, but you might be right. That might be what they're trying to suggest, because why? But why do they never go to his website to try to find him? They only go to fear.com.com though.
They don't know to go to his website.
But they know he's killed.
They
know he's got a new website, and they know he's killing people on their camera. And no, because here's where that falls apart is when they go onto people's computers, like, for example, Terry's boss, they take his computer and they, when they go to the computer whiz, in the early 2000s, there was only every city had one hacker computer whiz who had like a cool room, a cool apartment.
Yeah.
And you took them there and then they made computer problems go away.
That's right.
They took it to her and she looked on it and she was like, oh, all the people who are like victims or whatever, including, Polidori and then later Terry's boss, they all went to this website, which I assume was the website he's now on, because they wouldn't go to a website. They wouldn't have went to fear.com if it was shut down and not active, right?
Well, no, because it does come up on her screen, the hacker girl. It comes up on her screen while she's doing her hacks, and they show the hard drive spinning, and it's doing the click, click, and it's like, oh, technicalities. And then it shows like, oh, fear.com.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's why I don't think there's two websites.
I don't know. I was just trying to make a fucking patch. That's all it was.
Yeah. No, it's as valid as anything else in the movie. Yeah. But in any case, taking a quick little step back, we got this German punk kid comes, gets taken into to the station, because he's ranting and raving and nobody speaks German. He's screaming and all this stuff. And his eyes are bleeding. And you did notice that Polidori's eyes were bleeding, in the opening scene. So this is where like the editing and the direction come together in like a uniquely stupid way. So like, I'm trying to remember exactly how this quote plays out, but she picks up a camera at the scene and she goes like, do you have a plastic bag? And then he goes, that's evidence. And she goes, yeah. So this is, so let me set up the scene here. So they go in there's this German student. He's screaming, freaking out, bloody eyes, whatever. He ends up dying in his holding cell, and he puts on the wall in his own blood, apparently. I don't know. Murderer 48. So
well, that's after they get the camera.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So he's still in his holding cell, whatever.
Yeah. No.
They go to his apartment.
Yeah, it's just weird detective work because he comes in screaming, carrying on, bleeding from the eyes, and Stephen Dorff goes, well, get me a translator. And usually it just kind of ends there.
Yeah, that's right.
Like somehow he figures out in that small amount of time, they figure out where he lives. And then they all decide, well, we better go there. Why? You don't know what he's talking about. You don't like what is at his apartment that you know? You don't know anything.
No, this is genuinely hard to follow because it's just so poorly edited. But yeah, they go to his apartment. That's before he dies. You're right. I mean, it's inconsequential, but they go to his apartment. By the way, Mike and Terry haven't met each other yet. You've just kind of experiencing them separately. And then when they go to the German student's apartment, Mike is in there and, doing investigative stuff. And Terry just bops in. She works for the
Department of Health.
The Department of Health. Yeah, the DOH. So she's not a detective or anything because they don't know what's going on yet. They call her, when his eyes are bleeding and all that, they call him in because they're like, oh, does he have like I think they mentioned Ebola virus or something like that. She comes in to the apartment just unannounced, and he's like, who the fuck are you? And she's like, I'm from the DOH. And that's when she picks up the camera, like a handy cam kind of thing, and goes, do you have a plastic bag? And he goes, that's evidence. And she goes, yeah. And that's they cut the scene like that. It's just such a fucking wild scene.
And like it's not like she picked it up like an idiot. She picked it up like with a pen and was holding it by the strap and was like, yeah, I know it's evidence. I'm holding it like it's evidence. I'm not getting any fingerprints on it, you asshole.
But she's also not a cop. Like, don't touch things at a crime scene.
Also not a cop.
Yeah, so they go there, they do police things, and there's a dead girl in the tub, and her eyes are bleeding too. And then that's when she's like, it might be a virus or something like that. um, they need to get back. They get this call as they're kind of, investigating this, and they take the camera, all that stuff. They get this call that's like, you got to get back to the station right now. And then that's when they get back, and the German kid is dead, and Murderer 48 is written on the, on the wall in his blood. He has presumably done this. So then like a bunch of hazmats come in and stuff. And Terry says they're probably, already infected, but just kind of acts like Mike is kind of being a douche for being concerned. Like he's like, wait, we're already infected. Like, should we have hazmats on? And she's like, you're probably already infected. And he's like, what? And she's like, fucking cool it. Like she's pissed at him for being concerned. But then like really quickly, they're like, no, never mind. It's not a virus.
Which should have been the end of the movie for her.
Yeah, she should be out the fucking door. But then you start to get these scenes of like this creep, like recording people with a handy cam, and Terry and Mike seem like they're a lot of times just part of two entirely different conversations that are happening independently, but have been edited together.
Mm-hmm.
It is like, you honestly don't know who they're talking to sometimes, because they don't seem like they're talking to each other.
And they just may not have even been on set at the same time.
It really felt like that. It really felt like that. You start to get these first person kind of, not first person, but like you're not seeing his face of the doctor, and he's recording people and he's creeping around. He tries to lure this, not tries, he does lure this theater employee. She's working the ticket counter at a theater, like a movie theater, and he's creeping on her and, lures her, basically says like, yeah, you could be a movie star or whatever. She's like, yeah, cool. So she comes and, to his fucking creepy lair. But Mike and Terry watch the German couple's camcorder, when the German guy and her together, and it shows the German, couple, these couple of students were doing some browsing on the WWWs before she died. And it's also horrible. Like there are more, like I see videos on TikTok on a daily basis that are like more believable than his performances, but they apparently stumbled onto, fear.com.com. And then what happens is when you go on the old www.fear.com.com, you get like a little flash that happens, and they don't really I guess explain it entirely. But you go on there, and there, there's this creepy voice lady's like, what are you here for? What do you want to fucking do? Blah, blah, blah. Like saying all these like really vaguely sexual things about like almost BDSM type of language. And then you're seeing like creepy things pop up on the screen, and like, almost looks like surgery videos kind of thing, but they're like all dubbed over with like this, creepy industrial, flash filter or something. and
it's like all the it's like watching the montage from Event Horizon, where they show all the hell scenes from Event Horizon. They just do that, but with a blue filter over.
Yeah, and then like close up on an eye, and then like you could just tell, and we get deeper and deeper versions of this as like more people go to the website, like as the viewer you see more of it. And it's such an incredibly cheap, crappy attempt to kind of mimic what they do in The Ring when you watch the tape.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like they're trying to make it like dirty and sexy.
Yeah,
it's just so fucking lame.
Yeah, it starts as like dirty, sexy, industrial 9 Inch Nails video.
It does. It feels like a 9 Inch Nails video. You're 100% right. Yeah.
But by the end of the movie, like you're getting all these clues about the first murder and like where her body is. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, you mean like The Ring in the well, but it's not a well. It's in another water place. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cooling tower. Who gives a shit?
Cooling. You know how, we'll get to that. But guys, steel mills don't have nuclear cooling towers. Anyway, so the theater girl, she goes to meet the creepy doctor, which she thinks he's a director, and he chloroforms her, and then records her and, sets off a bunch of strobe lights and listens to Rammstein.
Which, oh boy, that's not so great today, because like the lead singer of Rammstein just really got a lot of accusations leveled against him.
Oh, really?
For doing a lot of similar things.
Really?
Like drugging women and shit.
Feels like it checks out, and not to paint a picture, if you don't know somebody, but you know what? This is my surprise face right now. So at this point, Terry's boss, who's just an inconsequential character, works at DOH apparently. He has the thing wrong with him where his eyes are bleeding, and he's not hiding it well. But Terry's dumb as a fucking box of rocks, so she doesn't notice it. But apparently he went to the bad WWW too. Mm-hmm. Not WW2, WWWTO. He didn't go to WW2. He went to the bad WWW also. So I did find this funny because he's kind of questioning Terry, and he's looking out the window, and you can see his eyes and nose bleeding as the viewer. But Terry's just like, "Why are you looking out the window?" He's like, "I'm just tired." And then they're like, "What happened to your computer?" He's like, "I was broke, had to take it to the computer doctor," whatever dumb shit he says.
Yeah.
And he just sent the monitor.
Yeah. Just again, nobody knows how technology works.
He just sent the monitor. You could tell he just got scared and threw the monitor away or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Turnbull is his name, by the way. That's her boss. So he's just really into smoking, and he's really bad at smoking. Mm-hmm. And he really chews the scenery with that cigarette. Boy, howdy. He goes to the abandoned, steel mill / furnace, as one does, to smoke. And he sees the apple child from before. And this is one of my favorite. I'm sure you caught this editing mishap here, where he takes the cigarette, and he, like I said, he is just making love to this cigarette just on screen. He is just chewing the scenery with it. He takes it cigarette out of his mouth and puts it back in 5 times. And I think in one of the cuts, they show the same cut twice, just back to back. He takes a cigarette out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Then it cuts over to this doorway where you see the apple girl, and you come back and it's the same,
the same motion,
3-second clip of him taking the cigarette out of his mouth again. It's so jarring and fucking horrible. But he's just obsessed with smoking, but he apparently doesn't know how to smoke. And I think that's why he's so upset. I don't know. But he just only in his ashtray are just a bunch of whole cigarettes. He doesn't smoke them, I don't think. I don't know. It's weird.
Now this set off my Columbo alarm.
Okay. All right.
Because there's an episode of Columbo where George Hamilton is the guest star, and he has decided to kill somebody who's a smoker. So what he does is he laces a bunch of cigarettes with poison and poisons his friend with the cigarettes. Now, when Columbo comes to investigate, he realizes that George Hamilton has switched out the cigarettes in the ashtray, because the ones in the ashtray he just burnt down. He didn't stub out. And he goes, those weren't actually smoke. They just were left to burn. Whereas when you smoke them, you stub them out. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, well, I got a few questions for you, because how come you didn't stub out your cigarettes when you just put them in the ashtray?
Yeah. But instead, a ghost makes him crash his car.
Yeah. There's a whole thing missing from this too, because it's supposed to be that the ashtray catches on fire and starts a fire in his car, but you never see that happen.
That would have made so much more sense. Instead, what happens is he's startled by the apple child, and he drops a cigarette. He gets in his car. Apple child comes up and goes, knock, knock, knock on his window, scares him. He drops a cigarette and literally goes, hot, hot.
Yeah. He does hot pants.
Which I loved. And it's like a fucking Three Stooges bit. And then the car fills with smoke from that one cigarette, which, it should have been because his ashray's full and fires. Like that would have made sense, but no, that's not what happens.
And you hear it in the sound design too. I'm pretty sure you hear like that stock ignition sound.
Really? Like,
of like, yeah, like that whoosh.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure you hear the whoosh and then like it fills up with smoke. And I was like, okay, the ashtray is supposed to be on fire, but they never show it. Like,
yeah, it just looks like in the scene that he drops a cigarette and like his, floorboards were soaked in, kerosene or something. Because like you don't see it, but you just see the car fill with smoke.
But then in the end, that doesn't matter anyway either, because doesn't matter. It guns it by itself and runs into a fucking wall. Like,
yeah, it doesn't matter because the car just speeds itself into the wall. It reminded me that It's Always Sunny clip where they are going to bail out of Dee's car and they just slam it.
I thought you were going to bail out. I got scared.
But he gets ejected out of the car. After slamming into the wall, and the fun thing was that like he had plenty of time, and apparently they talk about later that being in a car accident was like his biggest fear. The ring, the tape in this one, it's not, instead it's the website. It apparently kills you with your worst fear sometimes. Most of the time, like they talk about earlier, like one of my favorite lines, this is jumping way ahead, but it's so relevant here, is they're like, oh, he killed her with knives. Knives were her biggest fear. Oh my God. I almost pissed myself because they're his biggest fear was getting in a car crash. Her biggest fear was knives.
The other one that got me was you find out the German girl, her biggest fear was drowning. And then Stephen Dorff points that out. He's like, well, she didn't drown. She just, hit her head and died. And then Terry's like,
one of the
but she died in water. Yeah.
One of the main characters is poking holes in the plot. But yeah, I forgot about that. She goes, he didn't drown. She's like, yeah, but died in water.
She died in water.
Good enough. Oh my God. It's
gotcha there.
Like, the movie doesn't even like itself,
not in the least.
Yeah, but he apparently is scared of car crashes. That's like a huge phobia for him. But he never puts a seatbelt on. And even in all the time he has to put a seatbelt on as the car is speeding towards the wall, he just flails. He never puts a seatbelt on and then gets ejected out of the window. That's just one of the fucking best scenes in the movie. It's so asinine.
And Ralph Nader says, I told you so.
Yeah, I should. It's against the law. Buckle up. But anyway, meanwhile, they determined that the German girl died of a heart attack / brain hemorrhage because of too much adrenaline. That's what happens, I guess, sometimes. So not water.
Drowning. Not drowning.
It's so fucking dumb. Which the internet does all this. The internet gives you a heart attack and simultaneous brain hemorrhage because it gives you too much adrenaline. That the internet does. The WWW is. They find Turnbull and then bring him back in and to the morgue. And the whole thing happens in like 5 minutes, like all within the same day. Like somebody found him, called, they took him back. He was already in the morgue by the time that Terry got back to the fucking office. But, I love when they go and talk to Turnbull's wife. And they're basically, she's just like, yeah, he had a bad case of the computer spookums, basically. And she's like not that broken up about the whole thing either.
Not terribly, no. You can tell this is like an old loveless marriage because she's like, yeah, I don't know. He got scared by the computer and like was saying he was seeing shit. I don't know. He's dead now.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, he always works he's always works too much and stuff, but I don't know, he had some sort of computer spook and then been acting wild, and now he's dead. Like it's his wife of like 40 years or something.
Somebody sent him a fucked up jib jab and it like scared him a bunch.
Venom for a fucking loop.
His
so
fucking
now
life started tail spinning after getting a jib jab Evite.
I just am imagining the jib jab. The heads on it are all fucking Udo Kier here, or whatever his name is. So now this bad site has videos of the theater girl, that was abducted in the snuff film, and you first see the doctor, which is Stephen Ray, from which you probably know him. I didn't mention. You probably know him from unless you're British, because I think he does a ton of like British TV series and stuff like that. But he's on V for Vendetta. I think a lot of people would know him from that.
Yeah, I think also, he's in some of the Underworld movies, so people might recognize him from there as well.
Yeah. I think I saw one of those in the theater one time. So there's this whole like dialogue and conversation with, I guess, this is the point. I want to make sure I don't get mixed up. This is the point where they take the computer to the computer wizard, who's Karen, right? That's Karen.
Is her name Karen? I don't know. I didn't remember anybody's fucking names.
No, Denise. I think Denise is Denise.
Yeah, Denise. Denise is computer wizard.
Yeah, who's Karen then?
I don't know. You made that one up.
Karen? I might have made that one up. I swear there was a Karen. Apparently not.
Maybe you were just like, somebody's acting like a Karen.
Yeah, I guess so. So I also this like, was there such thing as a live stream in like 2001? You know what I mean? Like I really didn't think like webcams and stuff were really that much of a thing in, that early on. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I think so. I mean, because American Pie would have come out in 2001 or 2000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing was that they were live streaming. Yeah, American Pie's from 99, so they were live streaming.
Okay.
Shannon Elizabeth in that one scene, so that's probably where they stole that from, whether it's accurate or not.
Yeah, it would have been quite new technology, I guess, then for the average user, at least. But anyway, so after all this, Detective Mike says, we got to check out these computers. Literally, quote. I didn't make that up. So Terry watches the tape again of the German couple, and there's a flash the German kid saw on the screen, and then they died. And she checks the timestamp, and they died exactly 48 hours later. So in case you didn't see that coming, they go take to Denise, who I called Karen earlier. Denise is a forensic programmer, is what they call her. And basically she looks on the computer with her, matrix simulator, because everything's like industrial and she's got that hacker apartment that was in every, movie around this time. And she finds, fear.com, and she sees all the www spookums as well. And on the site, and the scary sex, and the giant cockroach comes out of her doohickey, and she smushes it, and that's just happens. That all happens.
Just to be clear, when you say doohickey, you don't mean her vagina.
No. I mean her it's like her computer tower.
Yeah, it's like her computer drive. It's not coming out of. Yeah, I just wanted to make that clear to the audience.
Oh, doohickey. Doohickey's not a slang term for vagina, is it?
Could be.
Yeah, I guess
anything could be.
Yeah. But then the sexy evil internet lady starts talking directly to Denise on the fear.com.coms. And she types in the hot box, which they keep showing it, and they call it the hot box, but that's basically just like the chat box, I guess.
Yeah.
And says, how do you, but I don't know why the hot box just cracked me up. But how do you know my name? And then it shows her more spookums, and then they're back to the doctor with the real bad American accent, which really, it was on full display in this scene. Who's torturing? Oh, Karen is the person that got picked up from the theater. That's Karen.
Is it?
I think so. Yeah. So that she's torturing Karen. He's torturing Karen still, and basically just explaining in very direct terms with zero subtlety that he's a sociopath by defining exactly what a sociopath is essentially in this scene. It's just, I think this is where you said that kind of bite on Seven a little bit. They kind of try to show that the doctor has some sort of like misguided like his own set of weird misguided like principles almost that he follows. So that's what kind of almost like the John Doe character from Seven a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's this character and then just the overall way this film is shot, because it's, you know, again, it's also a detective thriller, and it's always more or less always blue tinted, and it's almost more or less always raining, which is the same thing in Seven.
Wet all the time. Yeah.
Same thing in Seven. You know, Seven, it's always raining. So
in LA too, wasn't it supposed to be in LA?
Seven, yeah, Seven I think is supposed to be either LA or Chicago, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember it always all wet, and I just made the connection. Why the hell is it always raining in LA? Anyway, so get back to Denise. She's feeling kind of crazy, sexy, cool at this point. She's, you know, really kind of getting curious on the fear.com.com. Sees the apple ball, and the apple child, you know, kind of carrying it, and then it melts into bugs, I guess. I think what they're trying to suggest here is that her biggest fear is bugs. Yeah. So like literally at one point, like a giant Madagascar cockroach crawls out of her computer, and she just smushes it and goes back to the interwebs. My wife is horribly afraid of bugs, specifically spiders. And if she saw one, a giant one, on her desk beside her when she was working, like she would run out of the house and probably burn the house down behind her. For it to be your worst fear, and then you just kind of smash it with your hand and then just go back to your business, is just it made it so I did not pick up on the biggest fear thing until way later in the movie. Like, it's just not really a relevant part of the plot.
No, not at all. Yeah, because the first three characters that die, you don't know what their biggest fear is. Like, what was Udo Kier's biggest fear? They never tell you.
Trains. Thomas the Tank Engine.
Thomas the Tank Engine had a real...
You know, his biggest fear is something happening to him that might make him drop his book.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe the dog.
Oh, no. He was only kind of afraid of dogs. That's why the dog didn't do anything. It's just like, he's like, I don't love that, but trade is worse.
The only thing I'm more scared of than dogs is trains. They're like big dogs on tracks.
They're like big metal dogs.
Big metal dog. Another great quote from Detective Mike. He's got so many of them. It's a live cam death site. I don't know why that killed me too. I love that. A live cam death site. Anyway, you know, Terry read the book, you know, from the first, from what's his name, from Udo's character, you know, from the subway, and it apparently told her what bar Frank Bryant would be in. Frank Bryant was one of the other, like, I guess, was the other author of the book that Udo was carrying. He was carrying his own book, and the other person is Frank Bryant. Apparently they knew where to find him and exactly what bar he drank in, but they have no fucking idea where the doctor is. And honest question, was Frank getting blown in the booth?
I think.
Was that what we were supposed to think?
I think we're supposed to think that, but also there's just a chance that he was just laying down having a makeout.
He could have been, but there was definitely a sex worker that popped up, and he was laying down, and they were both down in the booth. So
right,
yeah, potentially, but you know, it you know, they try to pretend it's kind of like a little bit of like a seedy honky tonk type of bar, but not seedy enough where someone's getting a BJ in the back and no one cares. You know what I mean? In the middle of the like late, it seems like it was late morning. You know,
they really tried to make this look like the sleaziest New Orleans bar.
Yeah,
but we're not in New Orleans.
And they had, like, no, we're not. And they literally, I think, had like Cajun music playing too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I forget. There was just some other things about it, like the wood was all old, and they just tried to make it like the oldest, sleaziest bar. that they've ever been to. And I think because this film was filmed in like partly in Europe, partly in Canada, it was probably just like an old European or French bar, some shit like that.
And they just put some people wearing cowboy hats in there. Yeah, and apparently this guy invented the internet. I don't know. Or partially invented the internet. I don't know. But he explains that he and the dead guy, Polidori, hypothesized that the internet can take and store and transfer energy, but just one site, like one potential site could do this. Like I don't know. It doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
Was it that they just found that there was one site that did it? Like, yeah, it's almost like the internet like became like not sentient or self-aware, but it's like almost like the internet evolved technologically in a way that it had that capability, and then one site just did it, or did the victims do it? Yeah,
like initiate this. You never find that out. It's never explained at all.
It's so much easier to just give the Gremlins 2 explanation of like, the ghost is energy and then it can just travel the internet.
Well, that's at some point later, I think Detective Mike says something about like they're in the wires or something. I forget. I think I wrote it down. We haven't gotten that far. But Denise, the cyber hacker, she's losing her shit at this point. She's drawing fucking ones and zeros everywhere, and then a bunch of giant fucking roaches show up. The music is just so dumb throughout these sequences too. It's just so up and down. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Denise jumps out of her apartment window onto the car that Mike and Terry are arriving in. And her cat doesn't give a shit about that. Luckily, Terry knows everyone's fears and knows that they're dying of their worst fears. Like, they knew about the water thing. Apparently knew Denise, just Terry has this intuition where she knows what everyone's worst fears are. And I hypothesize that Terry is actually the girl in the internet, and she's the creator of fear.com.com. I really wanted that to be the ending, but it doesn't come to fruition.
No, I think it's just more likely that Terry works for the Department of Health and she just collected a whole bunch of data illegally on people. So that's all.
Yeah. Yeah, Terry very explicitly asks Mike, don't visit the bad website. Don't go there.
Which is the most hilarious thing, because then he does.
They don't even know each other.
Right.
Well, and also, like, why does she care about it? They just met that day, and now they're like, their relationship is never earned or even explained.
No, never earned.
Even at all.
But they had but somebody played the touching music cue in the background, so they had to hug and like caress. Yeah.
Well, he like hugs her and comforts her and then like puts her to bed.
Yeah.
And none of that makes sense with where their relationship was at in the movie.
Not at all.
Like, they just met that day, but like feels like 2 hours ago, he was like, why the fuck are you on my crime scene? Now he's like hugging her and comforting her and putting her to bed in her apartment.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any fucking sense. But then Mike immediately, of course, very first thing he does is go and hot boxes the old fear.com.com. Yeah. Literally 1 second after telling her that he's not going to do it.
Yeah. I'm not going to let this stranger tell me what to do. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I know we're best friends now and I think we're married, but you don't tell me not to hot box shit.
He does one flirty thing, and it's when she gets a ticket on her car that's parked outside of the police station while she's there on official police business, and his flirty thing is, that ticket, I can take care of that for you because I got that kind of power.
He goes, hey, baby, you want me to abuse my power real quick? Like, that's his most romantic thing he does. Yeah, so Mike goes on the fear.com.com, and he's getting all these, like, now it's the little dialogue at the beginning from the internet lady, Mrs. I'll call her Mrs. WWW. She's like, do you like to watch? Do you want to hurt me? Like, saying all this shit, and he's like, no, dog. And then she says, she flat out tells him he has 48 hours to find her and play the game or something. And then Mike gets the little web flashies in his eyes, and now he's got to find, Mrs. WWW in 48 hours or his brain and heart will explode. It's The Ring, but so fucking dumb.
So dumb. And like, did we ever figure out what his fear was?
Commitment? I don't know. Yeah, I actually have no fucking idea. Changing his clothes?
Yeah.
Taking a shower? I don't know. He's just so fucking greasy.
Getting shot by a World War II weapon.
Yeah. But so the little apple ball is following Detective Mike at this point. So he's on the hook here. So much of this episode is like not the styling, but some of the camera tricks are literally from like reminding me of Goosebumps, the TV series.
Mm-hmm.
Like they do the tilt the camera and then stretch something and it becomes scary. Like,
yeah.
It's literally the same camera tricks you get on literally on Goosebumps, like some of these same exact camera tricks.
Yeah, like everything in this film feels outdated even for 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and we haven't got to the special effects yet, but it's like it is abysmal just to even look at this thing.
Yeah, and at the end, it does seem, spoiler alert, it does seem fitting that the main antagonist at the end does die. I think he ODs on bad CGI. Like,
yep.
I think that's what kills him in the end. But anyway, so Mike, runs into a lady in the elevator that makes his brain shake. I don't know. And then Terry wakes up and knows he did the naughtybad.com. Like she knows he did it. And then Mike pulls a real pot calling the kettle black situation by telling Terry not to go on the site.
And then she does it.
And then she does it immediately, like while he's being taken out in an ambulance. And he explains that victims can, quote, live in the wires. That's what I like that one a lot. And I'm convinced at this point, like by this point in the movie, I'm convinced that the people who made this movie literally have zero idea what the internet is and probably still don't.
Yeah, you're like not wrong.
It feels like they were like, the internet might as well have been, threads to me, and I'm like, I don't know what it is. Is it like it's Instagram or Twitter? Like they were like that, but for the whole internet.
Yeah, it just doesn't. It's so funny because this week I have watched this movie and Death Spa. I was a guest on. They called this a movie this week or last week.
Right.
So you can go check out that episode. We're talking Death Spa on that show.
That's a fun one.
But this movie and Death Spa have so much in common that it's like upsetting. Both are about ghosts inhabiting computers. Both are about people who have no idea what the fuck technology is or what it does. And both have doctors who carry Lugers for no reason at all.
A doctor always carries a Luger. So like that's just a James Bond, I feel like, thing. You know what I mean? Like if you're a doctor, if you're an evil doctor, you have to carry a Luger.
Yeah.
I even made note of that when I read that. I was like, was that a Luger? Like,
yeah.
It's on his package. Stupid. So here's a quick question. How did Terry know where Mike was and that he went on the site?
Well, didn't she go? She went to the he went to the hospital, right? Because
but
he
how
had
did
like
she
brain
know
shake.
that? Yeah, but did she just assume that was from the bad website? I guess
Probably. I mean, why else would he just be shaking in a hospital bed for no reason?
I don't know. If you saw somebody shaking in the hospital bed, would you think seizure or evil website got in their brain?
I mean, I would ask first. It's like, do you have a history of epilepsy?
Do you have a history of going to www.fear.com.com?
But again, remember, Terry works for the Department of Health, so she's already seen his file and knows he doesn't have a history of epilepsy.
I appreciate that you are like an apologist for this movie.
I am drunk.
Correction, I am drunk. Regardless, she immediately goes on the site.
Immediately.
And then they keep using the site, basically as a fucking Ask Jeeves at this point, and it never works out. But they keep doing it. Yeah.
Hey, Ghost, can cats have pancakes?
Yeah. And then they're like, do you want to hurt me? They're like, I'll take that as a no. But, Terry then has the spinny, shaky internet flashies too, of course, because she went on the bad website. They show, more and more of the images, like the kind of like snuff filmy images that are happening here. And it's just like, again, it's just a really poorly ripped off, version of the video from The Ring. Jeffrey Combs really chewing the scenery when he is on screen, which I love.
Yeah.
That's what he does. You know what I mean? He like it's like telling a fish not to swim. You get this guy on the screen, he's gonna fucking lay it out there. But there's now blood exploding out of files, and Jeffrey Combs' character says some nonsense thing that should have been cut, like along with the lines that would have made what he said make sense.
It was like so out of nowhere, and he basically he hits on her, right?
Yeah, kind of, but like just so the scene was so mangled, like with the editing, that it just makes. And to say it makes no sense almost sounds like a hacky, but like it just makes no sense.
Yeah,
you can almost see where they cut stuff out that made it not make sense.
Yeah, it feels completely hacked up because it goes from the two of them investigating this thing on Mike's desk, and then Combs says something off color, and it's totally unmotivated as well, and it doesn't fit with what they were just doing. And she replies with "shut the fuck up," which is like, okay.
It just, the whole scene was just like an absolute fucking hack job. Then Terry goes, again, not a cop. She goes to, or an investigator or anything, but she goes to one of the victims of the doctor, previous victims, homes, and talks to her mother, and shows, and she shows her pictures of, it's the apple child that we've been talking about. And apparently she was a hemophiliac, which made her hair white? Question mark. I don't know.
If we know where hemophilia comes from, it's from inbreeding. So, gross kid. That's
true. That was a real Habsburger syndrome situation.
It's a real Habsburg royalty problem.
The mom's accent is great. It's just such a forced, weird accent. It's like, where do you live? A different place than all these other people.
I said, it was filmed in Europe and it was filmed in Canada, and it's filmed all over the place. And I don't know if we've gone past the scene or not, but there's a scene where Terry's interacting. I think it's when she's interacting with somebody at the hospital, asking where Mike is. And the lady who's behind the receptionist desk there, I think she's completely ADR'd because...
Oh yeah, we're not there yet. Okay. But she's like, what does she say? She's like, because Terry's line is fucking fantastic, and I have it written down later. But then she goes, like, well, where the hell is she? And she's like, ma'am, if you're gonna not calm down, then you're gonna have to leave.
Yeah,
it's completely ADR.
Yeah, like her whole dialogue is ADR, and I can only imagine it's because it was someone who did not do anywhere near an American accent.
Yeah, you're probably right. I didn't realize it was shot in Europe. I'm sure that's why. The accents are just all over the fucking place. But she does show a picture of the steel mill, and she's like, "Oh, that's the old mill right up the road." And like, in case it could get any more predictable,
right?
But, Terry, of course, goes to the steel mill and asks this like blind. It's an abandoned steel mill, obviously. There's this like blind homeless woman that's just like watching a TV that's not plugged in, and Terry just like busts in on her, which is fucking rude. But she asks, where is she? And the woman points to just this like pool of stagnant water, And Terry says no for some reason and then dives in. Do you know what I'm talking about? When she just goes,
yeah.
Again, it was just, why did she say no?
Right. Why did she say no? She just looks at it, she goes, no. It's like, it would be inappropriate to say no is what it is. Because like,
right. It felt like something I cut out.
Yeah. If it was a comedy movie, that's where the no is appropriate. Cause like you reveal to somebody, oh, you got to go dig and poop. And they go, oh no, but it's not appropriate here.
Like, no. And she doesn't even say it like that. Right. She just says like, no.
Yeah. Well, she's not
she's not a good actor. Yeah. She's terrible. But she is a professional diver, which is very convenient in this instance because she dives into this clearly very cold water. It's like cold weather out. It's pitch black. She has no gear at all, but she goes to this like extended deep dive with her eyes open and she could see in this like murky water. The whole thing is just wildly unbelievable. But, you know, of course she finds the body underwater, you know, in this like fucking industrial labyrinth. She finds it in like 20 seconds, like one breath. She finds it. And then she swims the corpse the whole way to the top. And then the corpse like lunges at her, kind of. Do you know what I'm talking about? The corpse like turns its head and like,
yeah, it gives.
Is that supposed to be like water expelling or like it's never explained?
No,
because you're like, oh, something supernatural's happening. Like this.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be like
or something.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be like a shitty jump scare. It's not supposed to be.
It didn't. Yeah, it didn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, well, again, it doesn't make sense because we don't know what Terry's greatest fear is either. Like her greatest fear is diving for corpses. All right.
No, just corpses in general. Yeah, Terry does this quick like spaz out at the hospital attendant thing. She's like, "Where's Detective Mike?" And they're like, "Excuse me?" And she's like, "God damn it, tell me where the fuck he is." And then she's like, "Ma'am, you're gonna need to calm down, like, or I'm gonna have to ask you to leave," I think is what she says. And then like again, it's super ADR. But she gets to Mike's hospital room and I guess like Mrs. WWW calls her and asks if she's going to find her and play the game like in the hospital room. And this is my favorite line in the movie. I rewound it like 3 times. Terry goes all one sentence. There's no pause. There's no nothing. She just goes, "Leave me alone. Where are you?" So wait,
this is also in my notes.
Would you like her to leave you alone, or do you want to know where she is?
Which is it? This was also in my notes. What a baffling fucking thing.
And it's right before she sees like the little apple ball thing. So like now shit's starting to go crazy in Terry's head. The WWWs are getting her, but leave me alone. Where are you? It's such a fucking beautiful line. Oh, it's so perfect.
I feel like that's something I'm going to yell at somebody in the future. Like,
leave me alone. Where are you?
That sounds like such a good thing for. I'm going to have to keep that in my back pocket for like the next beer fest I go to. And I'm just trying to find friends.
Yeah. Leave me alone.
Where are you?
Just holler at the top of your lungs. So now the computer lady is like full on in Terry's head at this point. And she's, basically exploring Freddy Krueger's fucking crash pad, which is the, I guess is the no, it's not the mill. Where is she at this point?
I don't fucking know. I don't know how they figure out this location.
Yeah. I watched this over 2 days. And full disclosure, I'm embarrassed to say this. I bought it for $1.99 the first time on Amazon Prime. And then, but I have like free movie, free like download credits through Amazon from, having like an Amazon credit card or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, so it was free, but then I went back and I had let like too many days go by since the first time I started watching it. So I had to buy it again.
Oh God.
To watch like the last 20 minutes. I mean, it was like $2, but still, I don't feel good about it.
Do you want me to make you feel worse?
Yeah.
It's free on Pluto.
I know. I didn't realize that. I didn't look it up. I just did my whole search function on my anyway.
Yeah.
So
just a quick tip for the audience. Anytime you want to watch a movie, what you do is you go on the Google and you just type in the name of the movie and you type in watch, and Google will just give you a list of all the places it's streaming. You can decide.
I saw that it was free on Pluto, but I've never had Pluto and I don't know what it is. So I could probably just download Pluto. I don't really know.
I watched it on the desktop, so it was fine.
Yeah. But so apparently the body she found, that was the computer lady. Anyway, everything in the place, which that's why I think it was I thought it was the steel mill, but because everything's like exploding and like there's a scene, it just makes no sense where just shit starts to go wild. Like fire starts shooting out of places, the wind starts blowing, like all this supernatural stuff starts happening. And the editing is so horrible and jarring that you don't even know where she is or why any of this thing is happening. But then she just wakes up in a cell. Like she wakes up on the floor in this small room and she's just like, what time is it? You know what I'm talking about?
I think I figured out what.
Like, where the fuck was she? What was all that?
No, I think I figured out what our problem is. So the corpse is at the steel mill.
Right.
What they're not clear about is Terry finds a magazine on Mike's desk. And on Mike's desk, it's like it's about nuclear power. So we didn't
even get there yet.
I'm just saying the nuclear power plant is a completely separate location. That's how they figured this out.
But doesn't he say something about let's table that because there's something that happens here in a second which doesn't make sense in that scenario. But Terry wakes up in this, like I said, in this cell, which it looks almost like a cell you'd see in like an insane asylum. But then there's just these people like around her, just like looking at her. And I think what it was that she like fell asleep or blacked out at the steel mill or something. And then like these random people are just looking down at her when she wakes up.
Just like more homeless people showed up.
Yeah, I guess. And she's like, what time is it? And then she goes back to her apartment and nothing is explained. And Mike is there.
Right.
And they're both like, quote unquote, drifting in and out. So they go to the morgue. They're like, we got to go to the morgue to explain or examine the body that she found, which somehow it got to the morgue. Or maybe did she take it back to the morgue and she passed out at the morgue?
It's not a cell. It's a elevator. She passes out in an elevator, and the people around her are people who are trying to open up the elevator.
And it's an elevator. Okay. This is right around the time I paused it, but like I even went back 5 minutes before that just to so I can kind of remember where I was at. And it still didn't make any fucking sense to me. But anyway, I must have missed that she went into an elevator. It shouldn't be this hard to follow.
Yeah, she's at the hospital, and she's trying to. Yeah, she's at the hospital. She's trying to find Mike, and she finds herself in an elevator. Like she can't find Mike because she's running around the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's in the scary basement, and then the scary basement scares her, and she runs into the elevator. And then the elevator, she passes out and wakes up in it. And then they go, and then her and Mike go look at the corpse in the morgue.
Go to the morgue, right? Yeah, and then that's when the doctor's telling her about what the doctor that's performing the autopsy,
right,
is explaining what the quote unquote doctor, the serial killer, did to her. And then they find that she swallowed something, and it's basically a little message in a bottle that she put in her belly,
right?
That said the guilty must be punished, and it has an address. So on their way, Mike's brain's all gooed up by the internet, maybe, I don't know. And then they find, I guess is his home base with all of his like serial killer paraphernalia and a bunch of corpses that he like turned into mannequins. And then Terry sees the magazine with the door that she's been seeing in her dreams, which is the door from the steel mill.
But it's the door to the nuclear power plant, actually.
Oh, okay. So that's why it's two different places.
Yeah.
So then that's not the steel mill. The steel mill is where she went and found the body.
Right.
But the nuclear cooling tower places is where he's actually doing his business now. Gotcha. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Anyway, Mike points his gun at fire in a really funny scene where like fire shoots out and then he like points his gun at the fire. But then you get a little scene. It's kind of a race against the clock thing here. The doctor is saying dumb shit. The dialogue that he says, they're trying to make it real like edgelord. It's horrible. He's like, you asked. So basically he wants Karen to ask him to kill her, like torture her until she begs for death kind of thing, I guess. But then he's like, you asked for death, so I'm no longer your murderer. It's like, you never were her murderer. She's still alive.
Right.
What are you fucking talking about, you moron?
And how's that
such a terrible line?
And just because you asked doesn't mean that you didn't get murdered.
Murder is, if somebody consents to being murdered, you still murdered them.
Yeah. Also, there's a thing called duress. And if you put somebody under duress, anything they say is null and void because you had threatened them with violence.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this guy's not in a great state of mind, but that line made no fucking sense.
Or a doctor who's been through medical school. He should know better.
He should know better. Come on, be better. But yeah, so we're spiraling towards the end here. They bust in, and then they're like, the cavalry's not coming, and he like points over and it's Jeffrey Combs. He's already been like splayed out on the wall, like in this dramatic, like he's not done anything like that in any amount of time. Like, I don't know. It's fucking stupid.
And like, how did he get there?
He had already killed Sykes.
Yeah. And how did he get there? Like, did he kidnap Sykes, or did Sykes somehow do better detective work than everybody and get there first?
Well, they called him. Remember, they were like, we're here. Because they called Sykes when they were on their way there.
Oh, yeah.
And remember, he was playing cards. He's like, what are you doing? Why are you interrupting him?
Oh, yeah.
So they called him when they were already on the way. How did he beat them there? Well, he could have been closer, whatever.
Maybe.
But how did he beat them there, go inside, get murdered, get displayed up on the wall,
right,
and then him get back to his other business all before they got there, unless they were driving from fucking 2 states over. But
and how did the doctor not set up another Patreon tier for everybody to watch that guy get killed? You got to charge extra for that.
Come on, you're not about that hustle culture, Doc. But anyway, he Mike shoots the doctor in the leg. But of course, Doc's got the Luger, like he always does, rolls over, pops Mike right in the chest. Then Terry stabs the doctor in the back with one of his, surgical implements, and then immediately turns her back on him, and then gets injected in the neck, and then she gets put up on the slab where, Karen was, who has, I guess survived at this point. But luckily, with his dying breath, Mike logs on to beer.com.com on the Doc's computer, which frees the computer lady, which zaps straight into the doctor's brain, where they attack him. All the victims of the ghosts of the victims in the computer are now in his brain. And they essentially attack him with the world's worst CGI, and then he dies of CGI poisoning, I think.
Yes, he dies of CGI poisoning. He dies of an editing reel, because pretty much all the CGI in this is just like somebody's editing reel to get work on a Tool video or a typo negative video. Like, this wasn't.
Yeah. Don't even besmirch typo negative. It is a Tool video or a 9 Inch Nails, ripoff, cover band or something.
They were trying to impress Manson. They're like, hey, dude, I can do the CGI in your next video. Check this out.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it is It is fucking abysmal. Some of it doesn't even make sense. There's one shot that stuck out to me that I was just like, this is so stupid. The entire film.
It goes on for a long time.
It goes on for a long, like, that's why I say it's an editing reel, because you have to watch every effect. Like, there's so many effects and they want to show you all of them. Look at all the things we can do. But
yeah,
one of them was through the whole movie. We've seen the internet girl and her ball, you know, it's the same thing. Just her and her ball over and over.
Yeah.
At one point she is Christ posed and she's raising 2 balls. And it's like,
yeah.
Why 2 balls? What the fucking this?
Because the ball, one of them's just her regular ball for play. One of them's death ball, the ball that eats.
The ball for judgment.
Yeah, because they just talked about earlier on. They're just like, when they talked to her mom, she's like, she just always liked playing with that ball. So like, it wasn't like it was some sort of implement that, you know, resulted in her death or anything like that. But
it was just her favorite toy. But then, like, as an adult, she has 2 balls.
Yeah, she got another one because she's grown up. She can buy whatever she wants. But she did like, but then he just like turns into bugs, I guess, in his internet brain, which makes actually less sense than him just getting murdered with bad CGI.
That was just just showing off how they can do instancing and an array of bugs.
It was so bad. So then Mike dies. Wham wham. Terry is still bad at acting, even when Mike dies. Cut to Terry wakes up in her apartment and the phone's ringing. So you think she's going to pick it up and it's going to be internet lady going, you going to come play, you know, or, hey, something happened and you didn't do her good, so now you're going to die. But she picks it up. And I don't know. I assume, here's what my theory is, because no one's on the other line. And then she just is like, never mind, bye. And then the end of the movie. Right. But I think what it was Mike calling from the other world, calling her from the World Wide Web to give her an update on her Domino's delivery.
Yes.
That's what I think.
Yes, he was absolutely trying to like relay the packing or the tracking number for her Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And that's the fucking movie, guys. That is http://www.fear.com.com. That is it. Did it.
I didn't ask at the top of the show, but I'm going to ask now. Why did you pick this movie?
I was looking for horrible movies. And normally when I go horrible, I go like fun horrible.
Right.
Like I go like either I don't love intentionally campy. You know, I don't mind. I'll watch a Velocipaster or something like that. But typically, or, you know, we've talked about Thanksgiving and all that's fun. But, you know, I like to watch some old weird Hong Kong movies and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
I just really was in the mood to watch something terrible that was from more recent. And I had a couple of movies that I still have in my back pocket that are from like the 2010s, like in the teens there, that are really fucking bad. And in my research of one movie that I didn't remember the name of that I did ultimately find, I came across fear.com. And I was like, I don't think I've ever seen that. And full disclosure, it was going to be between fear.com and One Missed Call. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrible. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to watch fear.com. Never saw it. Let's see what's up. And I started watching it and it had me at leave me alone. Where are you?
I just wondered if you had like some sort of like past experience with this film, because
nope.
Like I said,
this is my first watch.
Like my past experience was, I'm pretty sure I watched some of it when it first came out and then like turned it off because it was so bad.
I was watching, you know, like I said, I was trying to figure out what the other one that I was thinking, and it was One Missed Call, which is, again, is fucking terrible. But it's not this terrible.
No,
I don't think.
Well,
but I was looking at that and I was like, is this the movie I'm thinking of? And then in the, you know, research online of like, is this the horrible movie I think it is? I saw somebody mention how horrible fear.com was. And I was like, oh, I have never seen that. I've seen it pop up, but I didn't know it was horrible. all right, let's give her a watch. And then I was like, Jesus Christ, this has exceeded all my expectations.
Yeah. Just another fun trivia note about this. It is the 2003 winner of the Fangoria Chainsaw Award for worst film.
Just worst
film.
That's a great category.
It has 3 awards and they're all worst film.
It is a truly terrible movie, but it is just like, it's not boring. It kept my attention for how bad it was, and you just kept going like, what are they going to do now? I couldn't get enough of Terry. This is one of the worst performances I've ever seen.
It's so flat and weird.
Unbelievably bad. And I just couldn't get enough of it. I would watch a fear.com too if they brought it out, just because of how fucking entertainingly bad this movie was. I love a movie that's trying real hard and sucks ass. So, all right. That's fear.com.com, you guys. Definitely go check it out. Do not pay for this fucking thing. Go watch it on Pluto for free, or fucking torrent. Steal it. Don't let anybody make money off this piece of shit. They've already probably made too much.
Probably not. According to, again, back to IMDb, one real quick. It's apparently was a $40 million movie.
No fucking way. $40 million.
Yeah, and I think that's probably right, because if you go back to The House on Haunted Hill, that was a $37 million budget film, and like it kind of made its money back.
Yeah,
this did not make its money back. And no,
oh my God, 40 mil. At least House on Haunted Hill had like some big names in it. You know what I mean? Like, it had a cast. This has got like, Stephen Dorff. I guess maybe he was more in demand then. Like where did the money go? All the effects, I guess, they were horrible.
It has to be some sort of tax dodge.
Yeah. How the fuck do you spend $40 million on that piece of shit? Wow. That's concerning. Anyway, we did it. We got a whole goddamn episode out of it. And it was a lot of fun to talk about. I love just absolute piece of shit like that. All right, guys, don't forget, keep your eyes on the social medias. If you don't follow us already on the Instagrams, on the TikTokies, on the Twitters, and the whatever the fucking other thing I learned about tonight is, go Threads, go follow us on there. We are going to vote on our August Showdown episode topic. And once again, give you something to chew on here. Best of Vincent Price, best of Roger Corman, or good scenes in bad movies. So that should be a fun one for the month of August, which, guys, August is full on spooky season. I don't give a shit what you say. We're kicking off spooky season in August. Got to have at least 90 days of spooky season. So check it out on there. And if you feel so inclined, as always, go on the on your podcatcher apps, on your Spotify's and your Apple Podcasts, and give us a 5-star review. And then let us know. Send a little DM. Say, hey, I gave you a little 5-star. Said, hey, you guys are cool. I'll send you some fucking stickers in the mail. Also, Patreon. We already talked about it. If you want to hear us talk about the fucking Fast and the Furious movies, which I'm starting to soften on the idea, but I really feel like by like the 4th movie, I'm gonna, I think, kill myself. I'm not sure yet.
No,
we'll see.
I kind of know how it's gonna go. And
yeah?
yeah,
all right.
Yeah. And I think by the 4th movie, you're not gonna be, ready to, kill yourself. But you're just going to be kind of like side-eyeing about like this hasn't done anything yet. But it's the 5th movie that turns everything around. The
5th is when you're 5, you're family.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I'm looking forward to it. Actually, I'm not at all. All right, guys. That's it for this here mini-so. Join us next week. And we'll talk about what that top's going to be and get another little mini-so in your dang old ear holes. For the Halloween is Forever crew, I'm Brian.
And I'm Steve. Go listen to me talk about Despa, and they called this a movie.
Yeah, go listen to that as well.
Yeah.
And give us money on the Patreon and listen to us talk about the other thing. Okay, bye!